Yep.
Wondering, we've heard a lot from your teammates and even your coaches about, your conditioning and the work you put in over the pandemic. Can you take us through the process and what sort of motivated the whole thing?
Frustrating season. It was a frustrating season for me personally because I could never get in rhythm and help the team the way I should be helping the team. So it was as soon as I think I can't really remember which day it was that we got informed the facility was closing down. I got together with my team on a phone call and got going on a plan to resolve these ongoing issues.
And what Nick mentioned that it was consistency that you thought helped the whole process along, or sort of got you to where you are. Can you elaborate on that a bit? What the consistency? What you actually did?
What do you understand by consistency?
Consistency. He was talking about the times. I think it was the times you were eating. Like it was the same time every day. But I mean, just in terms of.
I think consistency goes with everything. Goes with training regimen, goals, sleeping habits, everything. Obviously, when you're at home, everything is a lot easier than when you're on the road and traveling and trying to make everything work and winning games. Which at the end of the day, that's what you judge for.
I mean, and you look thinner, but have you actually lost weight? Because you look bulkier too. Like you look like you muscled up.
Sure.
How much weight have you lost?
Not really sure. I don't think that's really relevant. I think it's important, like I said, and what we all gonna be measured for is winning games, and get another ring. I think that's what we all here for. And we all trying to be in the best situation possible personally to help them do that.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Stay well.
Thank you, Mike.
Next, we're going to go to Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Hello, Mark. Good to see you again. Thank you. A couple of questions. You referenced the ongoing issues. We've kind of understood them as hamstring issues. Is it, with the time to actually dig into the issue to the issues, what did you come up with, and how did you feel like you've solved them or addressed them?
Mainly was, I mean, you go from a late run in June, great late run in June, and putting everything on the line for the team, and then July we're starting, mid-July we start with the national team and try to accomplish something special with them too, and which we obviously did. So those are two very taxing efforts, right? And at the end of the day, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the work. If you're going to use that much energy, and especially comes a time that if you only take money out of the bank and never put money in the bank, you're gonna go broke.
Very well put. I can relate. And as a pro athlete, and you're involved with the national team also, how much of a luxury did it feel like to have a block of time like you had? Obviously, the circumstances not ideal.
Right. I just thought about maximizing, the situation, and not only for professional reasons, but also for personal reasons too. Spend time with your family, understanding what's important and what's not. Kind of reflecting a little bit on everything. I think we all had the time to do that a little bit. So. You feel very fortunate to be healthy first and foremost, and try to keep everybody around you healthy as well, and be responsible for that, and understanding that it's not only about you, and it's about everyone's health as well. So you have to be responsible and be safe going out there, not only for you and your loved ones, but also for the people that you don't know, and you might spread this disease to.
Thank you. One more. You were in Spain, my understanding is, for most of the pandemic. What was the atmosphere like in Spain as it relates to, because I know at one point the the crisis there was quite significant.
It was a full
What was it
lockdown.
like for you to experience?
It was a full lockdown, and I was confined at home with my wife and 2 kids, and I don't mind the social distancing, but not seeing my relatives, but at least being close to them, my parents, my uncles, my grandparents, knowing that at least I was, in case of emergency, a drive away, gave me at least a little peace of mind, and thankfully, they're all healthy, which that's obviously most important thing.
Thank you, Mark.
Going to go next to Doug Smith from the Toronto Star.
Mark, how are you? Thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. You talked about family, and you've now come to an area of the United States where the pandemic is raging and testing is all, the numbers are through the roof. Were you concerned, and are you concerned about being in that environment now, with knowing you're going to go back to a family with a couple of young kids?
I have full trust in what the NBA is trying to do. Once we're here, once we're inside of the bubble, I think there's always a little bit of risk, but the risk is, I think, brought down to the minimal. The protocols they put in, the safety measures they put in, ongoing testing that takes on every day. I think it's pretty preventative and prophylactic for us to be as safe as possible, given the circumstances. Obviously, nothing is 100% proved, but I think that we are in what you could call the safest environment, given obviously the situation.
On the basketball side of things, obviously you've had time to get ready for a late push, but how hard is it going to be to ramp up to full basketball speed? And given your contract status and the uncertainty of any future, what do you need to get out of these last 5 months of 5 weeks of what might be the NBA season?
I think we all here for the same goal, and that's trying to win a ring. Anything outside of that, it's just not relevant in this moment. It can't help you. It's not important. There's nothing you can do about anything beyond that point. So I think once we all committed to playing, we're here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to win.
Great. Thanks for your time, Mark. Appreciate it.
We go to Eric Corrine from The Athletic.
Hey, Mark, thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate it. Just following up on a few things, just in these first few days of practice and how you felt before, how does it feel to be moving around and to the extent you're scrimmaging with your sort of new frame, the way your body currently is?
We all still adjusting to one another. We've been away from each other for a long time, and I think we all still, getting up to speed with plays, with movement, adjusting to everything. Like I said, it's a matter of timing, getting your timing back. Everything in the NBA and professional sport, I think, has a lot to do with rhythm and timing. So getting everybody on the same speed of things, and communicating and being proactive in our approach. That's all really matters, and being a solution-based mindset. I think that's our one of our strengths, and we're very competitive, all of us. So we compete amongst each other every single day and try to go at each other's neck a little bit. So I think that's always positive, and I think that's one of the things that you miss the most during confinement was the competition. I think some guys like to compete at video games. Some of us are not really into those things, and we missed competing against other human beings in real life.
If you're not playing video games, what are you doing all day in your hotel room?
You don't want to play me video games, I'll tell you that much.
That ain't it, bro. FIFA king right here. Be sure you get on camera.
So I keep myself busy with different things that I like to do.
Come on, man. Not busy with different things.
I'm trying to learn fashion from Serge Ibaka. He's one of the creative minds. But no, I do keep myself busy doing different things, especially once it gets nighttime in Spain and my family is asleep. There's no more FaceTiming or doing stuff with them. You know, I got things coming. I'll show you two guys whenever is the time is right.
And just following up on being in Spain, in terms of timeline, when did you get over there? How soon after you got back from Utah and you were in Toronto and and waiting for the test results?
Obviously, we had to quarantine in Toronto first. I can't really remember what day it was. But you know, once obviously we passed the quarantine in Toronto, then we started getting the news about how long everything was going to be, and everything was cleared. You know, I think once we understood all those things, we made a move. I can't really remember which day it was.
So it was basically like a few weeks or so. Would
sure,
that be fair?
Yeah.
Thanks, Marc.
Yeah.
Going to Josh Lewenberg from TSN next.
Hey, Marc, good to see you. Thanks for doing this. We've heard about the family photos that the team had set up in everybody's room once you got there to the bubble. I know how important family is to you. What did that gesture mean, and how difficult has it been to be away from your family?
Obviously, it's not ideal to be separated, you know, from your family. But like I said, you know, once you know that they are well, also understanding and explaining to them the risk and making sure that they follow all the protocols that they have to follow. You know, it's a great gesture. Actually, my wife thought the same thing. So I had another picture from her with you know, my kids in there, waiting for me besides the one from the team. So I thought it was a great idea. It's a great sight to see in your room. And yeah, it is, you know, it's not, like I said, once you know they're okay, it's a lot easier.
Thanks, Marc.
Last question is going to go back to Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Let's go.
Hey, Marc. This experience you're going through, is it a little bit like a national team experience where you do kind of get removed and you're kind of just confined with your teammates for an extended period? Is there anything in your own experience that you can draw on for this?
Certainly. I mean, certainly it feels a little bit similar. You know, I never played summer league, but some of the guys say that this looks a little bit like summer league as well, as far as lifestyle and what, you know, players are not allowed to do during the day. But it doesn't matter what, you know, the situation is. You have to adapt, and we're all in the same boat and trying to make the best out of it. Okay, and I'm sure if you want to, you can find, you know, millions of excuses of why this is not a good idea. I just, you know, need you to find a good reason to stick with it and try to win another championship. So whatever that is for each player, I hope that they, you know, that they can really hold it strong and you know, lean on one another when the tough time comes, because they will come and things will get a little bit tougher on the mental aspect. And just, you know, knowing that you have your teammates always, you know, next to you to support you. And I think that's also what we always done on the national teams. Is stick to one another, trust one another, especially when things are not going your way.
And one more, if you don't mind. The obviously most of June there's so much social unrest in North America, and Black Lives Matter was a front and center issue for good reason. How did you experience that from Spain? How did it resonate maybe in Spain? If maybe what was that experience like for you?
It's definitely a worldwide issue. Obviously, you know, it spiked here in the U.S. With all the very unfortunate event that happened. But you know, it's a worldwide issue, and we look at each society, each community. You can see the systemic racism that is there, and I think it's our responsibility, our duty to, you know, to hit it head on, and we can. There shouldn't be anybody that shied away from that, and I've lived it in different levels in Europe. I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's it's time to say enough is enough, and we gotta demand a change, especially as far as process and systems go, how everything is set up, and so we can educate next generations on how to treat other human lives. To me, it's pretty simple. It's responsible, being more responsible as human beings.
Do you think your experience maybe in high school in Memphis and then obviously working for so long in the NBA, maybe, it could provide some context while you're in Europe for maybe people around you or something like that? Were people asking you questions?
I don't think people in Europe have to look only into the U.S. I think we can see how we treat a lot of immigrants that come from Africa to Europe, the way we view them, the way not we, but a lot of people does, sadly, in Spain or Italy or other countries around Europe. We look at them as immigrants, not only as human beings. So that tag that you put on already tells you a lot of stuff about the way you view them. So I think all those things needs to change, and it has to come. If not, it doesn't come from the top and from the government. It has to come from the people. So hopefully we can impact positively and respectfully to those changes and provoke that change.
Marc, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.